15 model Infiniti Q70. Replacing the transmission on it. I wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's required to remove the transmission on this vehicle. On the transmission, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts this size that go on the block at the top. Let's see if I can get a good view of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you have 4 bolts at the bottom that are smaller size. You have to remove the metal piece that goes right here to access this port in order to be able to get to the torque converter bolts. It has a total of 4 bolts. I removed the plastic cover that goes under here so that I could spin the 19 millimeter on the motor to be able to access the torque converter bolts through this access hole right here. I removed the exhaust out of it and the drive shaft. This here is the cover that goes underneath the engine to access the torque converter hole, access hole. These 2 metal pieces go on the exhaust. This is the transmission cross member. This one goes on the exhaust under the transmission. There's 2 lines on the side right here. They have bolts, 17 millimeter, this right here. They have 2 copper washers each, one on the inside, one on the outside. There's a couple of smaller bolts that hold the wiring harness. It's got 1 bolt here, 1 10 millimeter bolt here, 1 here. There's 2 10 millimeter bolts right here. It has a vent hose right here that goes up. Let's see if I can find it here to point it out. This one here, it has this thing right here that goes on this bolt right here. I removed the linkage. I believe I removed a 10 millimeter bolt from right here. There's another bracket right here on the starter. The starter stays in the car. There's 2 holes for it. You can see the silhouette from where it's sitting, from where it's been sitting, and the 2 bolts. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 large bolts at the top, 4 bolts at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 bolts on the starter, the 4 bolts on the torque converter. The drive shaft slides out of the transmission, and you have the coupler back here with 3 bolts. I unhooked the exhaust from the mufflers. 2 14s right here, 2 14s on this side. It's got dual mufflers on it. And then I just removed it from the downpipe right after the catalytic converters. I removed the oxygen sensors to give us a little bit extra clearance. For a second I thought I was gonna have to remove the catalytic converters, but they're kind of pain in the ass. As you can see, one of the bolts comes in from the front and one of them comes in from the back. There's a 3rd bolt that comes in from the front. You don't need to remove them. The transmission clears. It's kind of tight, but it's doable. I don't know about if you're doing it on the floor, but at least on a lift it's pretty straightforward once you get all the housing bolts loosened and everything else. It comes down pretty easy. This one was having issues with the valve body. The thing is outrageously expensive. We opted for getting a whole nother transmission through LKQ with a 1-year warranty. All right, I'll be going back with it now.